stuff I really have to take care of for RSong. Um, but I'm excited. I'm really really delighted. The long proposed times fix is already in testing phase.
Good. That's good to hear.
Yeah. So we'll see if it did the trick,
Mm-hmm.
and if it did, we've got some publishable results.
That'd be great.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited. We also, I know this is not RSong related, but Hans Hutel, who's a premier researcher at Aalborg, the University of Aalborg, has a group working on the row calculus. They added a notion of ambient style locations to the row calculus, which was kind of cool. I had visited them in the winter of 2018 and talked about the row in space calculus, and they didn't quite get it, mm-hmm. Which is fine. Their thing is cool too, but our thing is cooler.
Yeah. Where is the University of Aalborg located?
It's in Denmark.
Oh, Denmark. Okay.
Yeah, Denmark is a really remarkable country. Just the little time I was there, I was really struck by the happiness and trustingness of the people.
Yeah.
It was such a. I went to the to Lika to Perm right before then, and just the difference between the Russian culture and the Danish culture was really striking.
Mm.
Yeah. And you could really see it in the airports.
Yeah.
The way airport, the loading procedure and security was done was very different between Denmark and Russia.
Interesting. Yeah, I've flown on a Russian airplane before, Aeroflot, and it was an old airplane, but it was held together pretty good. So that was the important thing. It got me to where I needed to go safely.
Oh yeah, sure. Russian engineering is known for their, they'll make things go and go and go, right? The Mir space station is a really good example of that. But anyway, on to things. Our song. I don't have too much to report other than had a fantastic time in the studio, and we're starting to get some mixes together of the things that we did over Labor Day weekend. Hayden is remarkable, as were all the musicians in the effort. But I don't have too much to report on the RSong side. I still continue to believe that high volume, low risk dApps are the way to go. I'm talking with some Chinese community members who are interested in getting their dApps over onto the off-chain platform. I think RCat will really provide a lot of help for people. The metrics on getting MVPs on top of RCat are pretty compelling. But I don't have anything fresh to report. What about anyone else?
Nothing new to report on this side.
All right.
Nothing for me regarding music.
Okay.
I've been having fun playing with MetaMask and looking into what Kenny's hoping to build.
Yeah, exactly. That should be fun. Nora, what about for you?
I have a potential announcement playing on another talk show, but I cannot quite make it yet. So,
Okay.
maybe next week.
All
Um,
right.
but
Well,
yeah,
fingers
I'll
crossed
keep
for
you
you.
all. Sorry.
I said fingers crossed for you.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. It's definitely happening, but unfortunately the artist I'm playing with, it has not announced. So
Right. Understood.
I'm
Yeah.
not allowed to say. So, yeah, but I will, I'll let you all know. But it will be fun.
Good.
So, yeah, I'll let you know. And, yeah, there's some other stuff going on, but definitely next week I'll have some more things happening. Is Daryl on this call right now? No.
No, he's not. I have a
Okay.
question to ask
Yeah.
the room, or particularly Greg. So Amazon announced that they're launching their own version of a blockchain. It was announced this week. I just posted a link, and
Sweet.
I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on this. And I think it's quite significant based on what I've been reading, that they're building out, a ledger and cryptography, all of that. They never really use the word blockchain, but it sounds like they're building a blockchain.
Cool. Well, I think a lot of the companies are convinced about the payments mechanism, right? But a payments mechanism does not a smart contract mechanism make.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and that's really that's where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's great news. When Facebook announced Libra,
Yes.
Right, the market jumped. Right.
True.
So it's really good news. I mean, at the end of the day, since I've said since the inception of this project, this is not about competition. We have to keep our eyes on the prize. The prize is coordinating fast enough to get ourselves out of the mess we're in.
Yes.
And that means if there are workable solutions, we stitch them together from any and every corner.
Indeed.
Right?
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is that most people will not trust the large institutions because of what has happened in the past.
Mm.
Right? That's so that decentralization is really still quite strong.
Yes. Daryl and
Right.
I had a very interesting conversation with this guy called Christoph Jospa, who happens to be Amy Denio's nephew. And he runs a company called Nori, which is a blockchain-based carbon removal marketplace, which is going to be launching next year. But they've been a company since 2017.
Awesome.
And we thought they had a really interesting project. And Daryl and I
Which
had about
blockchain are they using?
Sorry?
Which blockchain are they using?
Ethereum for now. But anyway, we had over an hour-long conversation with him yesterday about a great many things. You can imagine what we talked about. And at the end of the conversation, he said, "Oh yeah, and by the way, I'm a drummer."
Sweet.
And
That's awesome.
I just thought it was so interesting that he was talking about how interested he was in just starting to get carbon out of the atmosphere, and why he felt like it was time to stop trusting the government to do anything about the climate crisis. And we were talking about why our chain cares about the climate crisis, and scalability, and just all this different stuff. And at the end, of course, he says he's a musician. I don't know, I just thought I would tell you that, because it just all kind of came full circle that he was related to Amy. Of course, Amy Denio, for those of you who don't know, she's a wonderful Seattle-based musician that Greg and I both know. And when I was in Seattle, 2 weeks ago working on the Tiny Orchestral Moments project. She said, hey, yeah, my nephew's working on this blockchain-based project to remove carbon out of the atmosphere. And I was like, what? Okay. So anyway, which is pretty outstanding. So anyway, this project is pretty cool. So, and then he also turned us on to a bunch of other projects. He mentioned several that we're going to look into. So
That's great news. That's really good news.
yeah. So anyway, that was a very productive little talk that we had. So.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we need to do. We need to really, really connect with other communities that are sharing the values that we share. I mean, I think it's, you know, I mean, I really, really believe that ultimately we have to connect lots of communities and find alignment where we find it. But right now, our chain and the blockchain in space in general, at least our view of it is it's overrun by speculators. And they certainly have a role to play, but at the end of the day, you know, if their values are not aligned with, you know, climate change, Walker is here for fiber. I need to give her some extra walking today because I have R-chain related stuff I have to attend to. So I will be right back.
Well, anyway, continuing on what Greg was saying, yeah, so he was mentioning that he felt that the community, the blockchain community that he had seen, you know, around the world was also overrun with speculators, and he felt that that was really counterproductive. And he wasn't quite convinced that Ethereum or that other blockchains, like, he didn't really understand that, you know, if he wanted to solve the climate crisis, that he should build on a blockchain that is less wasteful. He was like, well, it's a negligible amount of, you know, waste and all this stuff. And so me and Daryl were trying to talk to him about that. But anyway, really cool project. I'll link it in the chat if you guys are interested in seeing it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you, Nora.
Yeah, sure. And anyway, yeah, he's connected to a bunch of other ones, and I linked it also in the blockchain climate article that just got posted to the blog that I wrote. Excuse me. That got posted like 3 days ago to the blog. So that's one of the projects that I talked about. And then I also made a list of like at least 50 other climate related blockchain projects that I think we should reach out to and talk to. And just ask if they want to become members or if they want to participate in our discussions, or just, you know, just so we start getting more people involved, like in our community who are interested, you know, in that side of things, because, you know, obviously Greg has tasked me and Daryl with this, but, you know, also we want to create a community that is more interested in solving, you know, the crises of our times, and a little less interested in, you know, being obsessed with the price of rock and stuff. So
Right, absolutely.
which I think is going to like really represent our chain around the world in like a better way. You know, like the way I described it to Daryl yesterday was like, you know, we want to create a community that we would want to go have a drink with, you know.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And anyway, I don't know. I'm rambling now, but the link is in the chat.
No, but that's I think you're right. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, I don't drink personally, but the sentiment is well taken. Yeah, we want to create a community. I thought about it this morning. The way it showed up in my brain was, we want to create a network of people who know what it means to take care of each other.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I don't know if you caught what I said a minute ago, but actually Christoph was the one who brought up the fact that he felt that the blockchain space was overrun with speculators. Like, he was like, yeah, and why is it that the whole community is always obsessed with the price of everything? And me and Daryl were like, oh my God.
That's
so
great.
funny.
It's so great to hear. hear someone say that, you know. I mean,
Yeah,
just
like, yeah.
yeah.
And
I mean,
he was like, yeah, and that's why I started this project, and I feel like it's really missing. And you know, so he's the one who brought it up, and so I just felt like that was such a breath of fresh air, which we're gonna need in about 5 minutes on this planet, by the way.
yeah,
So
you're absolutely right.
anyway, yeah.
Great. I'm sorry I missed the call. I've been overrun this week with lots of things that have to be done for our chain. But maybe next time I can speak with Christoph.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to give you his email, or whatever, you know.
Yeah. Sweet.
Whatever you like. But yeah, just the link to his company is in the chat, or you know, whatever. And
Cool.
I'm really
Well,
happy that my blog finally went up, which I'm not sure if there's been any like commentary on it yet on social media. I should check that out and see what people are saying. But anyway, I'm glad that went up too, because that took some work. But anyway.
yeah. So we're going to have Christian Williams, who is a regular contributor on Rcast, asked if we could do an Rcast about how blockchain addresses climate change. And so I said, yeah, let's do that for sure.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
We're getting requests from the Chinese community to talk about this. And I know that when we posted the article, there were a lot of trolls who were like, you know, yeah, how does that work?
Yeah.
So we're going to do that. So you're welcome to join in. You and Daryl are welcome to join in on that conversation.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely. There's going to always be trolls on that issue, because unfortunately in America, we've opened up like a space for them, you know, and I think it's so interesting. Greta Thunberg was on Trevor Noah's show just 2 days ago. Maybe
Oh,
it
wow.
was yesterday. Yeah. And they had a really nice, like almost 10-minute interview, which is on YouTube. And he asked her, you know, what's the difference between striking for climate in Sweden versus in America? Like, how do you feel it's different? And she said, well, in Sweden, you know, it's taken as a fact. And in America, there's like still this debate going on, you know? And I think that's so interesting that she said that, you know, because in America, like, we kind of messed it up. Like, we opened up this space for those people to, you know, kind of naysay about that. And like, we can't really, I feel really strongly that we can't effectively lead the R-Chain community by listening to those people, because, I mean, they're only going to probably always be a few of them. And no matter how big and successful the R-Chain community becomes, there are always going to be a few of those people, you know, who probably don't want us to talk about the climate crisis, who think that, you know, blockchain shouldn't be about that, who, you know, like, there are always going to be people who have that opinion. Do you know what I mean? But like, we can't really lead on this by listening to those people. And also, like, the fate of all of us collectively, like, rests on this. So it's kind of like, how can you, like, we, you know, there's really no point in, you know, we have to like go past that. And I think it's really interesting that the Chinese community, they seem to really, well, especially from like the beginning, they seem to really understand like the potential of the technology of Rolang and the technology of blockchain, and especially of R-Chain in particular. And they also seem to really understand the gravity of the climate crisis and what R-Chain wants to do to solve it, like all of that stuff. You know what I mean? So thank God for the Chinese is all I have to say. I just find that really interesting. So anyway.
Yeah, thank you, Nora.
Sure. I don't. Yeah.
Maybe we should all start learning Chinese along with Greg.
All I know how to say in Chinese is hi, and I can play the violin. That's all I can say in Chinese.
Isn't that ni hao? Is that how?
Yep.
Ni hao. Ni hao.
Yeah. And I can play the violin is 我了小提琴. That's all I got.
Good for you.
Thanks.
Nora, when you were speaking about the Chinese and how they have a deeper understanding or appreciation for, you know, the climate crisis that we're in, some of their cities, you know, they're, you know, I see on the news reports of the smog levels that they have and how they have to walk around with the masks on their face. So they're in certain cities are really in a bad situation over there. So I can understand how they're more concerned about have a deeper appreciation for the what's going on with the climate.
Yeah, I mean, they don't want to, you know, live like that. And, you know, I don't know. I understand how we got into a situation where, you know, our entire nation, not just with the climate, but, you know, with like so many other issues, we don't have to guess which ones they are, but with so many issues, like, you know, there's like this debate about like what is real and what is not real, and it's like really frustrating, you know.
Sure.
But yeah, my uncle Al Germain used to be the director of wind energy resources or wind power resources, whatever his title was at BP, at British Petroleum. And now he has his own wind energy company. But yeah, he used to go to China and build wind turbines all the time.
Oh, wow.
Like he would go there a lot, and you know, they demanded his resources over there, like, you know, way more than over here. And this was like many years ago, but, you know, they were way ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they didn't want to have to live like that. And anyway, so I grew up with like a very very deep understanding of like all this stuff. And my grandfather, well, I've talked about my grandfather on this call before, but he started the State Natural Areas program in Wisconsin.
Oh.
Which is yeah, his name is Clifford Germain, and you can look him up. But he was a student of Aldo Leopold, who's a very famous sort of conservationist, and he protected all sorts of lands in Wisconsin. You know, he would like go out with a canoe and binoculars, and he would just like survey all this land and then submit it to the government and be like, this needs to be protected. And then they would be like, okay. And there's so many places in Wisconsin now, the parks and lakes and forests and all these places that are still protected because of him.
Wow.
And so I grew up with like this really you know, deep understanding of this stuff. And I like, but most people don't have that. You know, most people don't grow up with conservationists in their family, like telling them what's what. And if you don't, you know, like you have to learn, you know, how it goes. And what can happen sometimes, like too late, you know, like, yeah, I have a friend who's an amazing painter. Her name is Rochelle Gribble, and she's an amazing artist, and her art has been to space, and she's an incredible woman. And, you know, she went to Costa Rica recently to go on this project to paint a bunch of different birds and flowers, and just wanted to capture a bunch of the beauty, natural beauty down there, and found a bunch of it was extinct. And she couldn't find almost anything that she wanted to paint down there because, you know, almost all of it was gone. And then she was like, okay, well, now my project has changed. So what am I going to do? You know, should I write a blog about this? You know, what should I like? Should I paint what was supposed to be there? Should I paint what is there and then like leave blank space for what is not there? Like she's like trying to figure out what she should do, because what she wanted to do.
I gotta important call I had to take. I have no idea what the conversation had for the last 10 minutes.
That's fine. Still talking about the environment, as you can imagine.
So what did your Nora? What did your friend wind up doing as an alternative project?
Oh, she's still thinking about it.
Oh, she's thinking about it. Yeah.
She's still trying to figure it out. Yeah. I mean, yeah, she's not sure what she's going to do because, well, she's always having a lot of different projects. She has a gallery in LA that she runs, and she has a bunch of stuff. But anyway, that's what I'm trying to say is like this stuff happens really fast. You know what I mean? Like things go extinct before we even have time to like realize what has happened.
Right.
And like we don't have time to like announce it all on social media, like, okay, bulletin that, like, because it's like 200 species go extinct every day now, so like we don't have time to announce it. Like there's no like source for that. So that's something that blockchain could do. It could, like, I don't know, whatever. It's a crisis, that's all I have to say. It's a crisis.
Hello. What were you guys talking about? I had to jump on another call for a second.
Oh, my friend Rochelle, who's an amazing painter, wanted to go to Costa Rica to paint the rainforest. And when she got there, she had a list of things she wanted to paint, and a bunch of them were extinct or had been cut down. And I'm talking about how things are going extinct before we have a chance to realize it. And so we are definitely in a climate crisis, and we need a mechanism to realize the magnitude of the crisis, which could maybe be blockchain. And also we need to catch up to the speed at which this is happening, which I realized when my friend told me this story when she went to Costa Rica this past year. And she was like, my project is all messed up because I can't find any of the things that I am looking for, and the people that I'm with on this trip who live here are telling me they don't exist. So that was what I was talking about.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is actually a common story, by the way. It's not like a rare story. This is not like, something that just like my only, like, this is not like, oh, my one friend. Like, this is like a common thing, like you go to a land, you try to find something. Like, I'm sure David Attenborough will be like, yeah, it's been going on since the 70s or the 80s or whatever, or like Jane Goodall will be like, yeah, you can't find shit anymore. Like, whatever. But yeah, so once my friend told me that, I was like, well, this is it just really devastated me, because she just wanted to paint some beauty and come home, but even that was not possible. So now she's trying to figure out what to do with this project, like if she wants to write a piece about it or like what she's going to do. So
Well, that's she should definitely write about it. She should definitely let people know. I mean, she could certainly paint the species as they were from photographic record.
right, but then it's like fiction. And then like basically what she said to me was like, we keep on perpetuating this myth, which really bothers her, because she, like, I don't know, she just keeps feeling that like we're all perpetuating this myth of Earth, kind of like, like the farm that's on the picture of the cheese when you buy the cheese, and it's like this farm that doesn't exist,
Yeah, I hear you.
And it's like the real farm is like not like that. It's not like a green flowing pasture. I mean, like there might be a farm that looks like that somewhere, but that's like not the farm where that was made. So she doesn't really want to perpetuate that. I don't think, like, she wants to really show you know, what's going on, and I don't know.
Yeah,
Tricky
but I mean,
situation.
she could definitely do that, right? She could say, you know, here's the habitat now. Here's what it used to be like, right? And that would be, you know, there's definitely a way to do the project.
Oh yeah, I mean, she's like, you know, she's always doing a lot of different stuff. I mean, she's not gonna give up or anything. It just like was a really sad story, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds very sad.
Like,
Sounds very sad.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah. But that was something that Greta talked about on Trevor's show, was that she actually said the words 200 species go extinct every day. And there was like this like dead silence in the room. And it was like, yes, like somebody said it on mainstream television. It like made me so proud, you know, that like somebody actually said it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Because nobody ever says that stuff on mainstream television. You have to go deep into like climate Twitter for that.
You're getting cut off a little bit there, Nora, if you're trying to speak.
Well, I just wanted to say I have to jump off now because I have to take care of some stuff before the staff meeting. But it's been a very interesting call.
Yeah, thank you, Greg, for joining us.
Yeah, thanks to everyone. I really appreciate people lending their time and attention to this conversation.
Have a good day.
Catch you later.
Hey, Fabian.
Yep.
I'll just buzz you on Zoom, okay?
Do that. Sounds
All right,
good.
thanks.
All right, guys. Take care. Catch you
Yep.
later.
Have a good day.